What's going on, everybody? Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Joel Cupcake Unedited Live. I got a rad guest today. I'm pumped about it, but before we get started on that, thanks for everybody that checked out the last episode of Live with Davey from Trove/Vanna. I really appreciate that, doing the live thing. Some of the episodes will be live on Twitch, some won't. Just depends on schedules with my guests and me and life and all that nonsense, you know what I mean? So thanks for checking that out. If you haven't been paying attention, we are now live on all the podcasting platforms as well. If you don't want to watch the video and you just want the audio, I know that it's easier to listen to. I know it's easier to access as well. So, we're on Stitcher, the Google podcast service, whatever Amazon's version of that is, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of it. So we're there. Check it out. Anybody that's new, checking this out for the first time, due to who my lovely guest is, thank you. Feel free to hit subscribe down below. I would super appreciate that. All right, well, let's get started. Today is a good friend of mine. I think I say that every episode, but this is a guy I've known since he started playing music. Well, not since he started, but since he was decently into his tenure of playing music. And I've really gotten to watch him and his band grow as people, as a band, as, like a voice, and I love it. And I'm so happy he agreed to do the show with me, and he's a good friend of mine. And that person is Darius from Spite. Darius.
What's going on?
My fucking Joel. Man. How we doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. How about you?
Great, man. The fog just rolled in Monterey, so like right before this,
there you go.
We had
my favorite.
We had the dog down at the beach. It was nice and cool. She's sleeping now right here in front of me. Otherwise, she'd probably one of these days she'll be on one of these episodes. I don't know.
You have the cutest dog, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. She, she tries very hard, and she probably doesn't, but I like to say she does. But how are you? What's going on, man? How's life?
I'm good, man. I'm just trying to adjust to this whole thing like everyone else. I'm actually in the Bay Area right now. I moved to LA in October. I feel like
I remember that.
We spent any time there. Yeah, I've been touring so much since I moved.
Yeah,
but
you toured and then COVID happened, right? So it was basically like, back to the Bay I go.
Such a busy cycle for a minute there that like I barely got to spend any time there, and then COVID happened, and then so I'm kind of just up in the Bay right now because I just want to be like closer to family and stuff. All this is kind of going on. There's not much I can really do at my place by myself. You know what I mean? It's like trying to find any excuse to have any kind of interaction with people right now. It's figured home just like the best spot,
I feel it. Well, and also like being around, like my parents, they're 3 states away. So I don't get to see them at all with all this nonsense going on. And that's, as adults, it's okay. The space is normal. The separation is normal, but it's like, shit, totally. The world's a fucking crazy place right now on a couple different fronts. So it's like the fact that you have a lot of your like close direct family all near you is awesome. It's tight.
Yeah. I just started to feel a little isolated from everyone. I'd rather not be like trying to check in with everyone all the time. You know what I mean? Just be able to be here and be in touch.
Yeah. Are you liking? Obviously you didn't get to spend a lot of time. Did you like the SoCal move?
I did. I really loved it, and like. There's so much to do down there, but like right now, not so much, you know what I mean? And like, some of my friends that live down there are also like going back home and all that kind of stuff and, or going to other places right now. And like, I just feel like there's not like really anything for me there right now. And it's kind of a weird, like feeling because I'm also like, I'm like spending my rent like every month, obviously. And like, I'm just like, not even there.
Yeah. You're like not even there. Like,
like what the fuck am I doing, man?
Hey, fucking adulting, brother. You know what I mean? I feel like that's how we all feel 80% of the time, no matter what we do.
I feel like I'm like, touring's not happening and I have my own place and I'm still living out of a suitcase. You know what I mean? Just can't stop doing it.
I mean,
torturing myself.
It is torture, but it's at the same time, it's not that bad. Like the wanderlust. That's the term I like to use. I think I picked that up out of like an Every Time I Die song or something like that. Like, it's real. I haven't toured since like 2011, 2012. And I'm like, every once in a while I still get that little itch. You know what I mean? Like we've talked about this before. Like every once in a while I'm like, man, just that feeling of like You live out of the duffel bag, you're in a new town every day, like
grinding it out, man.
Dude, yeah, it's there's just something about it. Even, I don't play music. I'm as I like to call it, musically challenged. You know what I mean? But like, I got a good ear for it. I like the business. Like I love the being on the road with the bands. Like, it was something. It was a great part of my life that like. Whereas, like, I wish I hadn't toured with some of the people I toured with. Some of the experiences I had, I would never trade. So
totally, yeah.
But what we might as well talk about it because we already brought it up. Like, what brought you to the move to LA? Like, obviously the Bay is your home. We know, everybody that knows you knows that you rep the fucking shit out of the Bay. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, was it like kind of a career thing? Was it kind of just a change of pace thing? Like.
Well, I was at a point where I found myself in between tours, like always going to LA to meet up with either friends or people I was working with or anything like that. And like, I got to a point where I was like, I'm just going down here so much that like, I should just kind of just do it for a while. Like, get out when I need to get out. And I can always come back to the Bay. Cause I love the Bay Area, you know what I mean? But I did really like being in LA for the brief time I was there. And, met some new friends or gotten to like spend more time with some of the people that I met on the road. Sick. And that live there. And, our Spice current manager lives there and our booking agent. It's really easy to just like meet up and like really just like hash things out and get things done like this rather than always like trying to play phone tag and like that's
or the fucking 80,000 email threads. Yeah,
exactly, dude. I mean, fuck that, dude. I don't want any part of that shit.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. I think things move a lot quicker when we work that way. And then, Outsider, the same thing. I partner with Davis Ryder. He does like a lot of our, he does all of our Spite merch designs and stuff. Yeah. And he used to work with the band and he did some managing for us for a long time. And so we just built an awesome relationship and, he's one of my best friends and, it's nice being able to go down there and spend time with him and we get to work on things and it's nice just being closer to those things that make me feel like I'm moving,
Yeah. Is he's tattooing now, right? That's what, because I know he's not really doing artist management anymore, correct?
He's not doing artist management anymore. I think he's still, I don't know if he's still pursuing tattooing. He's pretty busy. I know he does all commissions for like other bands.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I know he does some designing for Jeffree Star and stuff like that. So he's got his hands full,
Sick. So he's a busy guy. That's tight. That's tight. Yeah. I mean, I've been a big fan of all the stuff he's done with you guys. You know what I mean? So I've been following. I think I follow him on Instagram. I love his work. So well, anyways, man, we are here today to talk about you. All these people that watch my show, there's not that many of them, but there's enough. They listen, they check it out. They've gotten to know good and bad sides of me and things about me. All unedited. I know you aren't too familiar with the show. You're just familiar with me, so I appreciate you being on. It's awesome. It's all one take. I don't go edit anything. I mean, shit. The episode I just released, or 2 episodes ago, was with EJ Shannon. EJ. And like literally, he's using his fucking phone as the Wi-Fi, and he's sitting outside doing the interview with me, and his phone overheats. So like, there's like 5 minutes in the middle of the episode where I just had to like cut his feed, and it's just me blabbering on. And then when he hops back in the call, boom, I add him back. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm trying to do my utter best to stay true to the whole unedited thing. And, you're in Spite. You've already mentioned it. I've mentioned it, and that's tight. And, I love you and the boys, but that's not what I want to talk about. Like I met you. Oh, wait, hold on. Now that I mentioned where you are, let me do this. Boom. There we go.
Oh, wow. There you go.
There we go. A little bit of branding for both of us. But yeah, like, so I met you, part of the way, like you had been in a few bands before we met. You'd been in the scene, you had a lot of friends. Like I knew a lot of people that knew you that were always like, you don't know the Tehrani brothers? You don't know Darius? You know what I mean? And so like we met, but I don't know like your full story. Like, I don't know, did you get into the music? Like, was it right out of high school? Were you in high school? Like hit me with that shit.
Man, okay. So I started out wanting to be a drummer. I remember I was in like 5th grade or something like that. So I was really young.
Yeah.
I remember taking drum lessons for the first time and I hated it because it was like part of my school and it was like a marching drum thing. I was like, no, I want to play like, rock music. At this point, I was into like, heavier music, like Slipknot and all that stuff. And I was like, I want, the aggressive stuff. I just felt like drums, like as a kid, I pictured drums as being like the instrument that I could just like put my full body into and like, I don't know, release whatever I'm feeling.
Yeah, like get it, like it was a perfect like release, like vent, just like
smack the shit out of something.
There you go. There you go.
And so I switched to a different like private drum lesson thing for a while, and like it still wasn't really my thing, and I kind of just like I need to find like something new, someone that was taking like a less like, I don't know, like such a professional way of like teaching me something, and just being more like, I don't know, I've always been like very visual and like hands-on person, and just like when when I say visual, I mean I don't mean like reading. I like pictures and stuff like that. I don't want to read. I don't want to read, how to play drums out of like a drum book. And I understand that's probably the way people should do it, but it's just as a kid, I just wasn't patient for that shit.
Yeah.
So I discovered this place called Red House. Red House in Walnut Creek, and I started taking drum lessons.
The infamous Red House.
Yeah, that's right. That's my whole start was there, man. So I started taking lessons with this guy there named Dave Drew, and he was like a big Muse fan. I remember him opening up like Muse to me and stuff like that, and me, just less heavy music all the time, more rock, like modern rock music and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was great, but he wound up leaving, and then I got this guy named Max McVitie, and he was like a hip hop drummer, and like he was the sickest dude. So I wound up like really vibing with him, and I spent a lot of time doing drum lessons with him, and so I started off being a drummer in a couple different bands.
Yeah.
Red House was a really cool place because so many like different kids in the area just came there and would have like lessons, but also just like they had these rooms and they did like jam sessions, and they set aside like certain times or like anybody could show up and grab an instrument and they'd like play songs together. And it was just like the coolest thing, for me being young and trying to get into music. It's like the bulletin board with people just looking for different people for projects, and like there's a very active community there.
Yeah.
So I met a lot of people through Red House, and then, they started doing shows. And I think around then, I don't know, I played drums for a while. I never really got too far with it. I mean, I could still play. I could get by, you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Like a great drummer or anything, but
you're probably better than I am, brother. So,
yeah. Ultimately, I've always wanted to be able to like express myself and, channel my feelings through something. And, I got to a point where I was like, I just need to say it, like,
I mean, dude, it makes sense, bro. I get it.
Yeah. So I started, this one band that I was in got rid of their vocalist or something like that, and I was friends with them. I wasn't in the band, sorry. I was just friends with them, and they wound up getting rid of their vocalist, and I took his place. And I had never done vocals like before besides being in my room, but I remember just being like, yeah, like I can do vocals, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, yeah, of course I can. And like, that was like my first band back then. And like, that lasted for a little bit, and probably spent too many years in that band. Became like a totally different, so many different members and whatever. But that's how I got into shows there, because every weekend Red House just started throwing shows, and they just book all the different bands. I mean, I was so young, I didn't even know how it worked, you know what I'm saying? But like, I would get onto these shows with my bands growing up because I'd, rehearsed there so much. And that the owner would just be, looking for locals and stuff. And I was the local, and like, I wound up just like finding my way to hopping onto so many shows. And I just I met so many different people that I like still know today, and like so many different bands. And like, that was it. Once I started going to shows, man, that's just like all I cared about doing every single weekend. I went, no matter what genre it was like, I'm going to the show. And then that community was just like, everyone was there every weekend. It was just really like tight music scene. And
I remember
like together.
I remember like pinup started doing shows there towards the end of the Red House's tenure, which I know
obviously,
obviously, like, you know that because that's partially how we met. You know what I mean? And like that was one thing that always impressed me is like I'd go and dude, like that was one of the few cities we would go where I'm like, shit, I don't know anybody. You know, I know a few people, but like you guys had such like a huge community of people that wasn't nearly as cliquey as it was in like the other scenes that I was doing shows in at the time. Like it was like, damn, like, you know, there's people here for like a metalcore show that do not look like they would normally be here. And then I see them talking to somebody in the bands and like, it's like your story where like, oh, they all used to jam at Red House together, musically went separate ways, but they're all still supporting because it's a fucking community. And I literally, dude, I fucking love that. Like, that's how it should be. Like, I don't know if you were playing shows for Pinup, like when Andrew still ran everything, we did that Battle of the Bands. Like I love that because like we would do so many preliminary rounds, but then all the finals would end up being like, you know, like one year it was like Kyle's old band Wake Up Dolly, and then Eighth Year, and then like an indie rock band, and then like a pop punk band, and then like a metalcore band, you know, and like everybody came and like, yeah, it got a little hectic when like the two heavy bands played, but like everybody watched each other, everybody supported each other, and like everybody stuck around. Like even the indie kids were like, okay, you know, like, you know, Kyle Reese's band, like all these dudes saying these metal dudes are legit, not my style of music, but all, you know, they watched Kyle's band, so I'll watch them. And that's how you remember, that's how it used to be. You know, and then like I didn't see that again for a long time until I started doing shows. I won't even say in the East Bay at Red House specifically. You know? So that I can totally dig where you're coming from with like the community you came from with everything.
Yeah, it was just, I remember everyone went to every show and everybody was just so cool to each other. Like it was like, you know, it would be your first time meeting anybody. If anyone new came in, like everyone was just so accepting, and I think that's why that scene thrived for so long at that venue. You know, people wanted to go to that place and come from other areas around the Bay to that, you know, to that spot, because it was just such a like, just a place everyone can just feel good around each other, and that was a good scene to grow up in.
Yeah,
you know?
And I mean, it was right off the freeway. There was good food around, and like, you know, I love the Bay. You know that, but let's be honest. A lot of our venues are old as shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the Red House was like, oh, dude, it's a small room. The sound system's not like top tier, but it's not terrible. And it's like, but you can go, there's a parking lot, there's food around, it's easy to get to. The sound is good. Like you can go and have fun. And you walk into the lobby after the band's done playing, and you're like, this is I'm in a nice venue. I'm in a nice space. Yeah. Just small space. You know what I mean? I mean, that room is even nicer than the small room at the Catalyst was before they remodeled it. You know what I mean? Like, that for a while was probably on the interior, at least, like the nicest venue we had in the Bay for a small sized room, you know, until like Brick and Mortar and some of those places opened up in NSF, you know?
Yeah. That's right.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I miss that place, man. That was a really good spot.
Dude, we all do. I miss there being like an East Bay scene that didn't revolve around like some fucking DIY place that's going to get shut down after 2 shows, or the Metro. You know what I mean? Like, the Metro's just so. I mean, dude, even your CD release show, we did basically 500 people in that room, and it still felt like we easily could have put more people in there. It didn't feel empty. Yeah, but it's like it's hard because the room is bigger than I think personally, you know, their capacity law allows from the city. I think I think you and I both have. I think we've actually had conversations about this. You know what I mean? Like, so, but it's like even when a show is sold out at the Metro, it's like, there's a little bit of room in here. You know what I mean? But like at Red House, it was just like you went and it was fun. I felt like there was very rarely like a non-packed show. You know, even the shows where it was like always packed. Even the shows where like the owner or like whoever the promoter was that night would tell me, or my partner, if he was there, even sometimes he was like, oh, our ticket sales are low for tonight. And I'm like, dude, it's, you know, hey, it's a Thursday night, bro. Like there's a lot of kids in this town. It's part of the business, you know? But even then, you know, we'd sell half the tickets we wanted to sell, and the show still looked good. And all the bands were always like, yo, the shit show was sick. Like kids bought stuff, kids moshed, you know, like it was always a good ass time. Like, you know, some of the best like first Spite shows we had were there, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think Spike played Red House maybe twice.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say there's the Lionheart one I know that we played.
Yeah, I feel like you played one other time.
I think
besides
so too.
That,
I just don't. I've played so many shows at Red House.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like, dude, like, I won't go into detail about it, but like, everybody, when I met Darius, you and Alex were both in the band we won't name, right?
That's right.
So long story short, when I met the Tehrani brothers, they were in another band, and they sounded like a fucking heavier Every Time I Die, basically. And so like Darius's vocal style was different than that. You know what I mean? Cody, the drummer of Spite, used to be in a different band, and he was like, "Yo, Darius and I are doing this thing. Like, check it out. You and I were already friends at this point." And he sent it to me, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, Darius can sound like that?" You know what I mean? And like that was right after you did a cover before you launched the Spite project, right? Like, was it
another cover that we bought now?
Yeah. Oh no! I am not talking about that. Are you talking
about a Spite cover?
No. You did like a vocal cover. I thought, didn't you do like?
I don't know. I think I started doing covers. I think after I was playing in Spite.
Maybe. You know me, man. My brain's a little.
No, it's all good.
Well, anyways. So like, I knew you could scream like that, but I hadn't like seen it. Like I hadn't. And then like Cody sent me that Spite stuff, and I was like, dude, this shit is fucking just like through the roof.
I had a side project with Cody before, like in between my other band and Spite.
Mm-hmm.
There was a side project that me and Cody did with Nick and Brent.
Oh, Terra Mortua.
Yep. And so we did that for a while. And I did some like not Spite style stuff, but like definitely some more aggressive.
Yeah, you were getting
stuff on that. Yeah, and
I loved that band, man. I thought you guys killed it with that.
Shit was cool.
Like the four of you have such like you have similar but different styles, like both with like how you write and what you listen to. Like I loved that shit, dude. Like Brent actually just showed us because like every other Wednesday, me and Dan and Sean Mott do that. Like we do like a listening party.
Okay.
Like on Twitch, we do it live and we just listen to unsigned bands and like tell people what we think. Cool. And awesome. Brent actually sent us a Terra Mortua song with the guy who started doing vocals after you did Spite. And like I was like, I can't remember his name.
It was Ian from Cyborg Octopus.
Yes, Ian.
Yep.
Yeah,
he's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I was like, fuck, man, like this shit. It just like had me going. And then like after we did that stream, I got off and I like went and looked up like some old videos of you guys playing and shit, and I was like, this was tight, dude. This was tight.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
But Spite was like a not to like dive in Spite so much, but that just came about because Cody was with me in Terra Mortua, and then Cody was in another band with Lucas, who's in Spite now. This band called Blackwell, which was
I always forget Lucas was in that fucking band. I remember that band. They were so sick, good,
dude.
Yeah, they were like
that was some.
They were like
Casey and Jesus.
I feel like. Do you remember Taylor from some of the Moria guys did that Seven Tongues project? Do you remember that?
I didn't hear that. No.
So it was kind of like Blackwell, where it was like that, like really black and like aggressive hardcore, but like the rest of the scene was like, this isn't what I expect from you. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Blackwell was like that, where like that band like was so good, and just like I know that most of the members weren't too social. You know what I mean? But like. I feel like that band like could have fucking blown up, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened. I know some of them started that deathbed band afterwards. I don't know the reason why it stopped, but that's kind of how, I remember I filled in for their singer once at a show, and like I loved playing those songs. I remember I had like a week or something. I had a really short amount of time to like learn their whole set. It was really just like I remember like even just I had to make up a couple things, but playing that, we played at the Selena's print shop.
Yeah,
and that shit was so fun. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's kind of how me and Lucas came together, and Cody and I, had also been working together through other projects, and then obviously I've always been in a band with my brother. We've always kind of like no matter what we do, we kind of just like take each other, you know, along. Just
I mean,
you know,
so that's what it should
duo,
be,
man. You know,
yeah, that's the way it should be, dude. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I trust that motherfucker. You know, my life. You know what I'm saying?
I should have just gotten a Photoshop picture of his face to just like have next to you on the screen,
we
like
should be
during
doing
the interview.
Together.
I know, fuck.
Yeah.
But
well,
maybe we'll do another. Maybe we'll do another episode in the future with both of you on it.
Yeah.
You know, you never know. You never know.
He's in Sacramento now.
Mm-hmm.
Sure
yeah, I follow him on Twitter, and I saw him say that, and I was like, oh, I had no idea he was doing that now. So.
Yeah.
But I know it's way cheaper to live up there than it is in the Bay. So.
Yeah, you get something nice up there too, in a good area, and you know, fuck it, man. You know, it's not far away.
Yeah, but well, yeah. So, yeah, dude. Well, fucking, and then obviously, you know, we all know, you know, it's been a couple of years now, and you guys have done some huge things with Spite, some great shit, man. Like, you know, being a friend of yours, it's awesome to see. Like, you guys have gone from like, I remember like being, you know, your hometown promoter, and you know, most people know that, like, you know, I was your first manager. You know, like, I know you guys were always big on like, we just want the opportunity to show people, and I feel like now that you've gotten to show people, people fucking get it, and like, you know, just how I was going to touch on this earlier, but like now it's a perfect segue. Like when you said I needed to move, you know, you went to LA because of the business and all that. Like, you know me, like I love the Bay. Like I've always been big on like, there isn't like the music industry here. You know, people just come here to make money and leave, you know, and like the stuff that is here is like Live Nation, Golden Voice, like these people that don't give a shit about the little guy, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's awesome that like, you guys are, as well as a bunch of other bands recently and a few before you as well, are just part in a long line of fucking great bands from the Bay. And like, I know like when you guys were like, I just want to show what we can do, and we want to show how the fucking Bay is. Like, you guys have done that, dude. It's so sick to see, man. Like,
thanks, man.
I love it. And like that last CD release show was, I know we were both stressing on like ticket sales and what turnout was going to be and all this shit, and that fucking slayed. You guys killed it. Like, I mean, like for like a, you know, if let's get just generic it, you know, a lot of people lump you guys in with the deathcore category. You know, I've never seen that many stage dives at a deathcore band show since like the animosity days. I'm being honest, you know, like I really haven't. Like you see the sick moshing, you see the headbanging, the circle pits, you know, the metalheads and the hardcore kids fighting each other. You see that at every deathcore show. But you guys had people like, it was like a fucking Spite party, like literally, like that's what it fucking was, dude. It was so sick to see, like, you know what I mean? Because like I fucking love seeing you guys do that. Like, you know, you guys came back and played. You know, you guys have always been awesome about like playing for me still and pin up and everything, and like you know, keeping it in the family, as I like to summarize it. You know, and like I appreciate that, but it's just so tight to see it all grow together. You know what I mean? And then like here's some boys from the Bay that a couple of years ago just wanted a chance, and you got that fucking chance, and you shut everybody up. Well, you proved some people right, but you know, because but yes, exactly.
It's been really cool to, you know, I don't know, looking at it from like another perspective. It's just been, I don't know, it's been, when I think about it, it's a really cool feeling. Just like, I don't know, just seeing that like I dedicated like, I want to say like pretty much my whole life to, you know, since I was young, and like being able to be someone that like, you know, when people talk about bands on the internet or whatever, that people can say like, you know, we're a larger scale band or whatever you want to call it. We're like a band that can represent the Bay Area right now. Like that's some serious shit, man. You know, like that feels really cool, you know, and I just want to like take that, and I just want to build on that. You know what I mean? You guys
gotta remake. I remember when you made those fucking Golden State Hate shirts, bro. Like that shit was everywhere, dude. Everybody was like that design. I remember like when I think you had the idea, and then like I was like, oh, I'll hit up James. He'll nail this, dude. That fucking shirt is still so sick, dude. With the Warriors logo, like,
fuck yeah.
I love it, dude. I fucking love it, dude.
I remember just like, I mean, the branding and like the logo and everything is so important and everything. And like, it's cool that something I, you know, created took off like that, you know, cause it's like, I remember being young and like in early high school and stuff like that. I couldn't go to like a single show ever without seeing a Fallujah shirt. Fallujah was like that band that like the Bay Area band, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't go to a show anywhere without seeing at least one or two.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. I feel like now like Spite somewhat has like the same thing going on.
Dude, I agree.
Bay, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like any time I can go to a show, I can see that like fuck yeah. You know?
Yeah,
like,
dude, and on the flip side, like, you know, I don't get to go to as many shows as I would like to anymore, you know, like, because I live a little bit farther south now, like, but when I am at shows, like, I love seeing young kids that I don't recognize that I'm like, oh, cool, new blood, fresh blood in the scene, however you want to phrase that, without me sounding like a vampire overlord. And like, they're wearing a fucking Spite shirt. I'm always like, yo, sick shirt. And they're like, oh, thanks, man. And, you know, they have no idea that I'm the one that guy put on the show. That's fine. I don't fucking care. I prefer it that way. So I can go to the bar and have my fucking Jack and Coke. You know me. You know what I mean? But then I'm like, fucking, yeah, there's like, you know, like when I grew up, it was like everybody and their motherfucking mom wore an Animosity shirt. You know what I mean? And then it was like
today, you still see that shit everywhere.
Well, yeah. And then it was like it progressed a little bit, and it was like everybody was all about like arsonists, and then there was like
all the girls.
Yep. And then there was like the 5 characters, love, and then it was
Suffocate.
like why? Yeah, Suffocate. It was like arsonist, and then Suffocate, and then it was on a local level 5 characters, you know, and then it was like Fallujah.
Dude, 5 characters, man. 5 characters was my favorite band. I mean, just like, dude, I just remember watching that band and just going to any, like, whenever they announced the show in the Bay Area, it's like I would just like, I would go. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Robbie was just the most like insane frontman I've ever seen. It was like the most inspirational shit. Like, it's just like that guy didn't give a fuck about what anybody thought. He was just so like in his element, and like I just never seen anything like that. And like it was so addicting, and
especially not on like a local we know that fucking guy level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I like straight up, man. Like I was just like, holy fuck. Like I don't know. I you know, I could listen to that EP now and like all their music now, and like even back then it was something. It's just like you hear their music and like you can paint the picture to like the song because they put on such a fucking performance, you know?
They put on that performance, and like it was funny because I remember like the first time somebody told me to check that band out and like book them. You know what I mean? They were from like a different part of the Bay that I didn't know anybody from really. You know what I mean? And it was like it was like a demo, and I was like, you know, back in the day when demos were like demos. You know, and I was like, dude. Yeah, I was like, I mean, this is cool. I don't get it, but then like we put them on a show, and I saw them live, and it was like, where the fuck did all these dudes come from? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude.
You could just tell, man. Like they all looked like they dressed however they want. They put themselves out there. Like they talked to everybody, and they were all just like such humble dudes. And then they get up there on stage, and it's just like, it's like total fucking flip, you know what I mean? You're just like, wow, you know, like,
dude, I love
that shit. That shit really sat with
especially
me. Especially
Robbie, because like half the time he's in like a button up and he's so like mild mannered, you know what I mean? It's just like, well, there's a lot like, you know, you're kind of you're not soft spoken, but you're like, you know, you're very approachable. You know, you just seem like a regular guy until you pick up a microphone. Robbie was like that. I mean, you've met Taylor a few times from Moria. He's like that, where he's like, he's just a big giant walking nerd. You know what I mean? And then like you give him a microphone and you're like, so like they just, but the whole band was like that. They were themselves. They were just these unique like selection pairing of dudes. And then they just fucking, when they played, they transformed, and it was so tight, dude.
It's really important, man. I think, you know, I may have learned a thing or two just growing up in the Bay Area. You know, the people who played music there, again, it was like at that time, it was a very open-minded scene.
Yeah.
And you could talk to anybody. You could talk to anybody. It didn't matter what they listened to, and you could become like homies, and like, you know, you just shared cool experiences with each other, and they were just like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, I think, you know, growing up in a scene like that, a very supportive scene, I think taught me a lot. Like when I you know, I still play shows to this day, and, you know, it's a little, obviously it's different now when I go on tour, and like, you know, the crowds are bigger and whatever, depending on, you know, what tour it is. And it's just like, it's not as easy to just like throw yourself out there for everyone, but like it's something that I remind myself I still need to do, because it's just like that's so important into growing like an established music scene and like people that just like care. It's like you have to give back. You have to care too. Like you can't just like, it's so easy to get caught up in your like routines, and you're like, oh, you know, especially when you're on tour, it's like every day just driving, you get out, you load, it's like the same shit every day. But it's like, do you remember going to shows growing up and like seeing those people on stage and like, you know, the way you felt when you heard that shit and whatever? It's just like, and like how crazy, you know, like, I don't know, man. I think it's really important. It's important for you as a musician that people listen to and care about and maybe look up to or whatever, to humanize yourself and talk to people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like go out to the merch table, talk to people, like say what's up, have a beer, a soda, whatever the fuck, you know, just like kick it, man. Like relax. Like you're still just a dude. These are just people. And like, I don't know, man. You gotta support the people that support you. Yeah.
Well, and you know, like as a compliment to you, like you've always been good at that. You know, like, you know, the second your music really, really hit online, like, and you got signed to the label, and like people were finding out about you, like your shit blew up online. You know what I mean? Like, and you never were above talking to the kids who were like, yo, I fucking love your band. Like that was always so sick. And you still do it now, and I fucking love that about you. And I think
I try.
It's a big part. I mean, everybody has, or you're still a human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's a big factor. Like you said, the skull, the branding, how personal a lot of the stuff in Spite is to you and Alex and the other guys. But like, you know, like I think that, and like your attitude and your approach to it, and the fact that, I mean, what you just said is like you hit the nail on the head. Like people are going to come around and keep supporting your band if you keep showing them that you appreciate it, instead of just expecting people to come see your band. So many bands get lost in that mentality. Oh, like we toured fucking 6 months last year. Like I'm a grumpy burnout old man. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, that really comes down, you know, what you're doing it for, that, you know, kind of shapes up how you feel about things. True. You know what I mean? And I'll admit, you know, after touring like months and months and months on end, back to back to back, it burns you out sometimes, and you get jaded on things and whatever. And, you know, that's one positive thing that I think is coming out of this whole quarantine thing, or, you know, the COVID thing, is that like it's forcing everyone to kind of have a reset and like reevaluate like what everything like means to them, like why you're doing these things, rather than just like you're always just like going and going and going and going, and now it's like there's no future, you don't know what's going to happen, and like you have to sit there and face it, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, like that's been huge for me. And like I have never in my life, like, I mean, besides when Spite was like first starting, just like been more hungry to like get out there and prove myself again. And like, just like, I don't know, I don't ever want to get used to like, I don't ever want to get used to it. I don't want to get used to like being like, oh, like people think I'm cool, or like I'm a good vocalist, or like, you know, my band is sick. You know what I mean? It's just like, I want to just take every part of this and take it to the next level, and the next level, and the next level. And I can't fucking wait, man. Like, I can't wait.
Now, are you guys, I mean, you don't have to answer this question because we all know how the politics work. Are you guys like writing during quarantine? Or are you all just kind of taking time?
Yeah, definitely. Alex and I have definitely been writing a lot. Yeah, it's, I was just up there in Sacramento for a few days, just like kind of grinding some things out with him and some demos and all that. And I'm really, really happy with the way our direction is going right now. Yeah. You know, I don't want to comment too much on it. Again, I mean, we're not on a record label or anything. There's no one like stopping me from saying anything. You know what I mean?
Pretty fucking.
But but it's just you know, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a long time before anything comes out, and you know, we are taking the time, you know, not having a label or anything like that, to really just like have everything be exactly the way we want to do it, with no time limit on it, no one to like rush something, no one to just put out some bullshit that we don't want to put out. Like, this is, you know, whatever comes next from Spite is going to be, it's going to be real.
It's going to be 100% Spite.
So it's going to be 100% Spite. So, I mean, that's something that everyone, I guess, can look forward to if you're interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so, you know, like with quarantine going on and all this, like, you know, I've had other episodes talking about things are going to change, this, that, how it's going to affect bands, venues, whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, what are you, like, you know, what's up with you? Like, how are you using your time? Like, I know you know, you still have Outsider, your clothing line, which I fucking love that you, like, you know, half the designs seem to be decently original and then half are like horror, like, you know, nods to old like horror flicks. I fucking love that you do that. It's been your theme the whole time. You like, that's the thing I like about you and why I wanted to have you on the show is like, you know, we've seen it where like a band will have branding and then all of a sudden they like, we're going to change our sound a little bit. And like, here's completely different branding. You should have a natural evolution, but like at the same time, like, I mean, I know this is a phrase I used with you a lot when I was still mentioning you guys, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, what do you like, how's everything going with Outsider? Like, what are you up to? Just give us like a brief, like, you know, 5 minutes. Like how's quarantine life for you? You know what I mean?
To be honest, I've been having a really difficult time. You know, I went and I was just talking about how excited I was to get back on the road and do music again. Of course, that is 100% the case. It's just right now, like I said before, there's nothing like definite about the future right now, and everything changes every day. We have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was about to have the best year, like, in my musical career. I had everything lined up exactly how I wanted it, you know, like, I mean, it was just like, it was insane, man. Like, it was about to be my fucking year, you know, and it just like, and I know so many people are experiencing this, and it's just like, and I'm trying not to be like selfish about it and be like, oh, poor me and whatever, but you know, it fucking be like that sometimes, you know. I've been honestly like dwelling on shit. I've been wallowing in shit. I've just been kind of like being very like, besides like, I don't know, I've just been very kind of unproductive. I haven't honestly been the healthiest person either. I started out quarantine kind of like working out a little bit and trying to maintain what I was doing. But, you know, I had such a routine right before my last tour, and I felt like the best I did in my life. And like, those things are just like, aren't really available to me anymore. And like, it's like, you know, there's so much time to do like stuff to better yourself right now, but it's like that again, like that feeling of like the future being kind of like teetering like that, just like kills your motivation. You know, it's like, what am I working for? Like, it's hard to snap out of that. And I try, and it's like, I mean, I lose the battle very often, man, you know?
Brother, I feel you. You know, my whole thing is always like, oh, you know, I got plenty of time. And then all of a sudden I'm like, dude, fuck, I was supposed to do this one thing a week ago. Or like, I was going to fix this thing in the apartment for us. Holy shit. I told my girlfriend I'd do that fucking 9 days ago. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, it's like, there's like low motivation. The illusion of having time is like almost like a trick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fucking like, April, bro. April never existed, man. Literally the whole month of April just came and went, and like, I can't say I fucking did anything in that month.
Dude, my birthday was my birthday was, you know, last month, the end of May, you know that. And I fucking, the other day, I still said I was 33 because it's just like, because it's like, like Trina and I had like, we had a great fucking day together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we had an awesome day. Like, I did what I wanted. You know, like, I got a little bit of gaming in. We watched a couple movies. She like, you know, we ordered takeout from my favorite restaurant here in town. Like, it was tight. It was like definitely the most mellow birthday I've ever had since I turned like 18. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But like, it's also like, boop, just like gone. You know, it's there. It's and it's not because it was bad. It's just because of like, fuck, man. Like, if I
you're so used to being on all the time. And when you have days like that, like a birthday or a holiday or some kind of event, whatever, you slow down, you take the time to like soak it in. And not saying obviously your birthday wasn't memorable and stuff like that. I'm just saying it's like, it almost makes things less like everything's so bleak. You don't soak it in as much. You don't feel it as much, and that's rough, man.
That's actually, that's like the perfect way to describe it. I had another way I was going to describe it, and I'm not now because you just fucking like nailed it on the head, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's true. But you know what? Hey, man, you know, that's the truth, though, is like we're all dealing with it, you know? And it's like, I'm hoping that some people hear you talk about it and me talk about it, and they realize that like it's okay to feel this way, you know? Because there's a lot of like, you know, finger pointing and depression, and like there's this big veil. Like before all this happened, like the one thing that I'm happy is like this, I call it like the society veil is going to be fucking shattered, because like between like everything going on in the wake of George Floyd, and between how our country is split in half over that issue, and the fact that like we've been taught that it's one side versus the other. And then on top of that, there's coronavirus. Like I saw a really good image that I talked about in the last episode, and it's that normal isn't working. You know what I mean? So it's like we want to go back to it, but do we? You know, so like,
yeah, I mean, you know, everything obviously is going to kind of go back to square one a little bit, and you know, we have a chance now to kind of rebuild things the way we want them to, how they need to be. So that, you know, that's one, again, like another good thing that can come out of this is kind of going back to the drawing board and being like, okay, well, how can we open up, you know, the fucking world again in a better way? You know, it's like now we have time to figure that fucking shit out before it happens again.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's forced to deal with it. Everybody is forced to deal with it, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, man.
Well, let's, you know, I told you we wouldn't take too long, and I knew this was going to happen because we're good friends, so we just kind of kept talking. I knew it was going to happen. So, well, you know, let's get ready to wind down a little bit. You know, I'm sure I'll have you back on at some point in time, or like maybe I would love to do that episode with you and Alex both, dude. That'd actually be pretty fun. You know, we could do a Tehrani Brothers special. You know what I mean? Like, I would fucking love it. So I got a few questions I hit everybody with, just to kind of like exit the program, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still an interview, so I got to be a little cheesy. Plus, Darius, you know me better than most of my guests on the show. You know, I'm the master of the cheesy, terrible dad joke. So, you know, I got to have a little bit of cheese ball going on. You know what I mean? So, what is your favorite color?
My favorite what?
Color.
Yeah. Purple. Yeah.
Okay. I did not know that about you.
It's always been purple. Yeah. Yeah. I wear, my whole wardrobe is black, red, and white, but you know, purple, man.
Respect. Hey, I respect that. Let me see. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food. My dad makes this really good Persian dish. It's so hard to like, I don't want to say it wrong, but it's like this garbanzo bean and like lamb mash.
Ooh, okay.
And like you can like dip like bread into it, and like he like pairs it with like I don't even know how to describe it, but it is like it's the best thing.
That
ever.
Sounds delicious. The fact that you
like,
just like compared it to a mash, like a dip almost, like that sounds.
Yeah, it's like this mash, but it's like it's so filling and so simple, but like I don't know, there's like dried lime in it. It's like it's such a very like I don't know, distinct flavor. I need to get the goddamn recipe, man.
You know, I'm gonna have to come like crash the Tehrani family barbecue now and try that.
Yeah,
right? Like, you know that's like your severance for telling me this.
Next time it happens, I'm calling you up.
All right, do it.
It's this thing I get to have. Like he makes it like once a year, like every winter. You know, it's a very like cold weather food. Obviously, we don't get that much in California, so again, it's like a short window when he makes it. But it's like a Persian comfort food. You know,
that's so sick. Dude.
And then there's this like I mean, we don't ever make this from like scratch, but there's this ice cream flavor. Again, it's like a Persian ice cream, and it's like saffron flavor.
Oh, I know what that is, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever like had that before, but it's like there's nothing else that tastes like that. It's like the most unique tasting thing ever. And like they put it with like rose water and stuff. It's just a very like I don't know. Yeah, but I would say those are probably my favorite foods.
That sounds phenomenal, straight up. Like that sounds I'm fucking hungry now, Darius.
Yeah, man.
All right. I got told I should add a new question from a viewer to my rap questions, and I loved it. And I actually am really embarrassed. I didn't think of it myself. So you're the first person that actually has to answer this.
Okay.
When you tour, you get things that you don't normally get. What's your favorite like restaurant, or like what's your favorite thing that you can only find on tour that you can't find at home?
There's been so many like restaurants that like Spite has gone through like phases where like this is the spot, and like we go there like every fucking day for like a tour. You know what I'm saying? And, like there was Waffle House, and then we realized Waffle House fucking sucks. And then
whoa.
I mean, hey man, it's like you. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a quick story, bro. I like. I've spent a lot of time at Waffle House, unfortunately.
Fair. Well,
because you know, you go around, it's the only place that's 24 hours, you know, it's
and the amount of food you can get for as inexpensive as
it's cheap, you know. I mean, not that I've had good, satisfying meals at Waffle House, but I went there once, and that's what I'm saying. It's like we go through phases where something like to us like feels so good, and then we probably just burn ourselves out on it, honestly, because we like eat it so much. But like Waffle House was one of them, and I went there once and I ordered the steak and eggs, and I'm an idiot for probably ordering the steak at Waffle House, and they always ask you how you want it cooked, but it always comes out the same no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, why do you even ask, man? You know, like. But
I mean, you're not wrong.
I ordered a steak once, and they brought it out to me, and half of the steak was blue. And when I say blue, I mean like blue, like you know, like the little Twitter icon, the little bird thingy, how blue that thing is. Like my steak fucking looked like that, and I was like, she was handing it to me, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like handing it back. I'm like, the steak is blue, like. Anyway, that was I think that was the final straw for me at Waffle House.
I'm like, fucking
dude, I don't even know that happened. Like, what was wrong with it? You know,
you just rocked my world, like in like the worst way possible, dude.
Dude, it was quite disturbing. So there's that, and there's Cracker Barrel was one of them. We went to Cracker Barrel like every fucking day for a long time.
People underestimate that place because they're just like, oh, that's like an old people place to eat. But it's
it's good, but we burn ourselves out for sure. Steak and Shake we did before Waffle House. That was one, because these are all just places you don't really get in California.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The one place that's been consistent, which you can't really, I think there's a couple in LA, but you can't really find anywhere, is Cane's. Cane's is very, you can't get any, Yeah. I got this place called Dave's Hot Chicken in LA by my spot. It's probably the best fried chicken I've ever had.
I've heard that. I've never been there. And I haven't been there because, you know me, I'm never in LA. So like that, but I've heard of that place, and everybody talks about it, man.
It's literally like across the street from my place. I'm pretty spoiled. But Cane's is probably the most consistent like place that we get together. We're just like, this is gonna be good every time, whatever. But as far as like places that like aren't chains or whatever, there's this spot that I've been like really like every time I go on tour I get excited to go to now. Yeah. Just personally, I don't know about my band, but there's this place called Come and Take It Live in Austin. Down the street, they have that little like, they got the Starbucks, the Chipotle, down the CVS, and there's this place a little bit down towards the right. I think it's called Buzzworks. I think that's what it's called. I really hope I'm not wrong. I'm sorry if I am. But it's like it's a cafe and a bar, and they have great coffee, and they always have these great, different like craft beers you can't really find anywhere, and like sours and all that. And they have like these like pre-made like shots, like different like alcohol infused with like, I don't know, weird things and stuff, just like ready to go. It's just like a cool spot, but they have this whole outdoor area and like patio area with all these tables and these cool lights, and everyone just chills back there. But there's a little stand that does cheesesteaks. And like, dude, I mean, these things are fucking huge. It's the best fucking cheesesteak, man. You think like, oh, it's in Texas. Like, why would that be the spot? Dude, I'm telling you, if you ever play Come and Take It, you're in Austin, like the cheesesteak stand outside of, I think, Buzzworks, I think that's the spot, dude.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That is sick. All right. Dude, I'm very happy with that answer. And you know me, that's like, I try to go see a year. So like,
sorry, you froze up on me for a sec.
Oh, I said I try to go see DeFonce at least once a year. You know what I mean? So like, and he lives in
Austin now.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So next time I see him, I'm gonna make him take me to that fucking place. And I'll send you a picture.
There you go, man. Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. Okay. We're almost done.
Yeah, no worries, man. You're cool.
This is a hot seat question that I did not tell you I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Sheets or Wawa?
Oh shit. Probably Wawa. Yeah.
All right.
I want to say Wawa.
You don't need to explain.
I mean, yeah. If I explain to people,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's save you.
Let me just say, I will. Let me just say, we had some extremely poor experiences at Sheets on our last tour. Like every time we went, it was just, yeah. And honestly,
I'm the opposite. I also haven't toured in fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But every time we hit Sheets, it was just like fucking just radiating beauty.
I think Sheets has a better selection of convenient stuff and snacks and all that stuff, I think, but I think Wawa has a better food setup personally. Okay.
Again, yeah. I haven't had the chance.
I'm never fuck Sheets, bro, but I'll go to both. You know what I'm saying? But if I'd probably go to a Wawa over
Sheets. Fair. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always.
It's not it's different. I'll fucking say this, bro. I got no shame. It's not the same as my feeling with fucking what is it? There's In-N-Out. What's the fucking Texas
Whataburger?
Man? It sucks. Yeah, Whataburger. Whataburger is fucking awful, dude.
And it's so funny because everybody in Texas is like, dude, In-N-Out sucks.
It's exhausting, dude. It's just you're just wrong, man. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion, but with that, bro, I'm just dude.
You got to stick it to those people, Darius. You got to make a Spite In-N-Out burger shirt, bro. That's what you need to do.
Honestly, not a bad idea.
I think you could, yeah, dude. In-N-Out old-fashioned hamburgers, Spite old-fashioned deathcore, or something like that. With the drive-through, just rip the whole image. You know what I mean, and just change it to your name.
Yeah, man. We'll represent. I don't give a fuck.
That's so sick. I love it. All right. Word. Second to last thing really is just how can everybody find you? What are your socials? It's all going to be linked after the show at the bottom in the description and shit. But I know you're on Twitter and Instagram mostly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm just Darius Spite on both Instagram and Twitter. My Facebook is more private. I probably won't. Whatever. But
I get it.
And then the band page, if you're interested in the band stuff, it's Spite CA on Twitter and Spite Official on Instagram. And then I have my Outsider. That's my clothing brand. I'm wearing a shirt right now. Yeah, whatever. I do drops every, few months. I'm trying to make it more consistent, but that's called Outsider. It's Outsider Cult on Instagram and Twitter and the website. So if you're interested in all that, I appreciate you wanting me to give a plug to those things. Thank you. Of course.
Hey man, we all gotta pay the man somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially now, man.
Oh, yeah, seriously, brother. I feel you. All right, last thing. I'm actually really curious because I feel like you and I know each other pretty damn well. This is the question I can literally wait to ask you this. I'm so excited. So everybody has a character trait or a habit or something about their personality that they wish their fans and not close friends knew about them. What would you say that is for you? And if you need me to give you a better example, I can.
Can you give me an example? Yeah. Okay,
so for me, if I turned my camera this way, I have over 100 books in this bookshelf that I've read. I'm a huge fan of reading. I read a lot as a child. I don't want to say I'm well learned because a lot of them are nerdy books, but last time I bought a book, people were like, "You read?" You know what I mean? So there's that, and then obviously, you know me, I have a lot of layers, and when you really get to the bottom of it, I'm just a guy that's trying to have a good time. Like, that's it. You know, it's that simple. Like, with music, I'm trying to have a good time and let other people experience good music. I'm trying to do what I can for, like, like, there's always like why pinup does this and mission statements and that and whatnot, all this shit. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, how many times have you and I been able to get together and just be like, not talk about any of that and just have a fucking good time, you know? And I feel like a lot of people, especially like it shows so many new people to the scene are like young kids. It's hard for them to approach me because they're like, you know, oh, that's Joel. And I'm like, I suck, dude. Like, why are you having, what the fuck, dude? Like,
dude.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, like, sometimes I get a little hyphy, or like, sometimes I'm the person yelling at you because you fucking punched a girl in the face, but you punched a girl in the face. Like, of course someone's going to fucking yell at you for that. You know what I mean? Like, so like, that's kind of how, that's kind of what I mean, you know, like, a great example is like the reading, you know, it could be something simple like that or something a little bit more in depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, that's a very interesting question for me right now, and it's hard for me to answer. But something I'm trying to figure out right now.
Fair.
Is I've invested myself so much in my band and what I do for a living that like this quarantine is kind of like bringing me to a place where like I'm trying to figure out who I am outside of all of this. Yeah. You know, and it's like I don't really know what to say. You know what I mean? Like, I know, it sucks to say that. I feel like I'm a pretty in-depth person. Like, there's a lot to me, but I've been more reserved now than ever, just about like my lifestyle and whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, what's a weird, like, something weird that, like, I don't know, that, like,
weird. Well, I mean, like, with you, it's almost like, you know, they always say, what's that fucking phrase? You know, like life imitates art, but with you, it's almost like the other way around, because like your art is your life. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess there's two things that, like, you know, I never used to think about anything else other than like this, you know. I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. This is exactly what I want. Like, that's it. And like, I didn't entertain anything else. I just never had a plan B. I never I was like, this is it. I'm going to make it happen, you know, like, and now, you know, I'm thinking about like other things that like I might like enjoy about myself, or I think I might enjoy or whatever. And like, I don't know, I've been thinking like one day I think maybe I could get into like voice acting or something like that. Like, I think that would be something really cool. I've always wanted to know how to sing. You know, I want to be able to like write songs that aren't always like angry and fucked up all the time. You know what I'm saying? I've never, you know, since Spite started, taken the time to put out anything else that's not Spite related. And I definitely like feel things other than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, I need to find new ways to like express myself. But I've always felt like I've really been good at like alternating or like changing how my voice sounds and like, you know, imitating a noise or whatever, or a voice or something like that. And I think it would be really like, I love comedy, and I think it would be really fun to like, I don't know, one day like be the voice of like a cartoon or something like that. And like, I don't even want to like put myself out there so much about it. Just like something I kind of do on the side, and like, like, even, I don't know. I just think that would be such a cool experience. And
cartoon 10 years from now, and it's like, you know, the voice of fucking so-and-so is Darius Tehrani. We go like, what?
What the? Yeah, I just think, I don't know. I feel like that's something I would definitely kill. And like, I had a conversation with someone about this recently who I know would also fucking kill it. But Tyler Shelton from Traders, he's the same fucking way, dude. He's just like, he's in such control over his voice. And like, I could see him doing the same thing. And I remember having a good conversation with him about that in like Canada or something together. But that's a great guy, man. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's
I'll take that. Dude, I love that. I didn't know you wanted to, dude. I would never have guessed that you wanted to even consider doing voice acting. That's awesome, dude. I love it.
Yeah. We'll see. You know, maybe something will come up of it. You know.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But all right, well, you know, Darius, you know, you opened up quite a bit. You gave me and all the listeners some real unedited shit, brother. I love it, dude.
There you go, dude. I'm glad to contribute.
Dude, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll definitely do that episode with your brother. I am already pumped thinking about it because you're fucking. I love your brother. He's such a fucking character. You know what I mean? Like, just like, and you two together is just like, it's a force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? So I fucking love it. Thank you for being on the show. Everybody listening, thank you for checking it out. Make sure you support Spite. Check out their shit. Check out Darius's clothing line, Outsiders. Sorry. Don't buy that fake shit from H&M. Buy the real shit from Darius.
Fashion Nova. Yeah.
Fashion Nova. Sorry, difference. Whatever. Same garbage. Everybody for watching this on YouTube. Subscribe down at the bottom, please. In the video or in the description, both on the podcast and on the vlog, I'll have links to Darius, his company, and his band. Everybody, thanks for checking it out. Like I said, subscribe, support Spite. Don't support me. Fucking let's hang out. It's been your boy.
Don't
Joel.
Say that. Support Joel. Please support Joel. Joel has always supported me.
Oh, thank you, Darius. This has been your boy Joel Cupcake, and it's been another episode of Joel Cupcake Unedited Live. Darius,
thanks for having me, dude.
My man. Thank you for being here.
Love you, bro. Take care.